Good morning, and thank you for listening in. My name is Tharan Fergus. I work in the Water and Wastewater Agency in Oslo, City of Oslo, and I'm here today to talk about strategic management of urban rivers in Oslo. So what we're going to be looking into is stormwater management and reopening of rivers. I'm talking here from the capital of Oslo. We have approximately 700,000 inhabitants in the city, but 1.5 million inhabitants in the greater region of Oslo. It's been the capital for over 1,000 years, so we have a very rich heritage and history in the city. And it lies between the forest and the fjord. The city, which is blue and green, between the forest and the mountain. And I have a nice picture of Oslo here, where you see the fjord, the city, the blue, the green, in between the blue fjord and the green forest, which is of course very widely used, and where we also get our drinking water supply from. Actually, we see the drinking water supply is right in the middle of the picture, and runs. We have a big river called Akerselva, which runs out into the fjord, right in the middle of the picture, down here. The streams and rivers of Oslo, like many other cities, were closed up during the last 150 years due to the event of the modern sewage system. Of course, these rivers were first started to be used as sort of conduits for sewage. And sewage was just dumped into the rivers, and they stank, and they were, of course, conduits for disease. So when we got the first modern sewage system, there was a lot of people wanted these streams to be closed and become part of the sewage system. And I think that's the case in very many other cities throughout the world, and is still happening today, of course. Here we have a picture of an old stream, which is now part of the sewage system. Oops. Sorry. Sorry about that. Which is now part of the sewage system. And the old map we have here is from 1844. It's before we had the sewage system. And you see how many rivers and streams Oslo once had. We have a very topography, very geology, so therefore we also have had a great lot of streams. So they were closed up. They were closed up both because of the sewage system being developed, but they were also closed up to gain space for building the city, and both in the inner parts of the city and the outer parts of the city, they were closed up. They were also closed up in some parts of the city because of safety issues, that there was mothers who went together and sent letters to the municipality and wanted the dangerous streams covered up because their children were in danger of drowning. So that was also actually the case in some small streams, but also mainly because of this sanitary problem, that the streams were unsanitary and dirty. But we did also have some very strong advocates, actually, and very early on, that wanted to save the river systems and use them as part of a park system, and saw that these streams could be used as part of the sort of park system and the landscape, and the park system should follow the natural system of rivers and the natural landscape. So that was, this park plan is from 1950. So, and it's quite a strong plan that we are building our management of rivers on today. This plan from 1950, and which was developed throughout the 40s to 1950, is really been a very strong part of our heritage. So you can say plans that you make today will leave an impression on your city for many, many, many years to come if it is a strong plan based on the landscape. So and as I said, this is a plan we build on and we use as part of our management today. Of course, the main strategic tool for planning and managing our rivers is the sort of overall municipal plan, which is made every 4 years, and where we give legally binding requirements. To an example is that you're not allowed to build along the river corridor for the main rivers. You're not allowed to build 20 meters, closer than 20 meters to the river, or 12 meters from a stream. So that's legally, they have not been legally binding until today, but they're proposed to be legally binding requirements. But still quite strong. The municipal plan is of where we can issue management strategies, which are taken down into local plans and regulation plans and building plans. So the really important tool for all river managers is your municipal plan. And I'm sure that is quite a common plan that very many countries operate with and many cities operate with, is a main municipal plan. In Norway, our plans are I would say rolled every 4 years, that you come with a new plan. We have elections every 4 years, city elections every 4 years. So then the politicians want to put their mark on the city, and so the municipal plan is given a makeover every 4 years. So you have a vision, which is the blue, green, resilient city. And then we have a strategy, how to achieve that vision, which is strengthen and develop blue-green structures in the city. And then the strategic tools to achieve that vision is legal management, but also a great many other tools. And I'll be coming into them further on. One tool is actually the climate strategy for Oslo, which also we have a lot of sort of strategies that follow the municipal plan, which give you the outline the tools for management, and the climate strategy also towards 2030 says that we will preserve and restore our watercourses, fjord, parks, and outdoor recreation areas. So that will sort of enhance the vision we have of a blue-green city. And I'm actually sitting just behind these buildings here, and in the picture. So that's where my office is. So that's where I'm sitting today. Let's see, going down one slide. Oops, sorry, there we go. Yes, I'm sure this is all water engineers and maybe some planners are familiar with this picture. It shows some of the issues we have in stormwater management. I'm going to talk a bit about stormwater management because that's quite an important part of urban river management. As I said, the rivers were closed because of sewage, and but not all rivers were part of the sewage system. Some, of course, remained open. They were too big to become part of the sewage system. Some remained open, but a lot of the smaller streams became, and very small water courses became part of the sewage system that also takes in stormwater. So we have a stormwater and a combined sewage system, we call it. And you can see on this picture how that works, with water entering the sewage system and some of it spilling into the rivers. So that's a situation we don't want. We want to remove water from the sewage system so as not to pollute our rivers. So that's an important part of the urban river management system. And going back to the municipal plan, the requirements in Oslo is that we have a stormwater management system that reduces the impact of climate change and of water going into the sewage system. So we're trying to take out water of the sewage system by using open green solutions and delaying the amount of water going into the delaying the time, so we have less water going in faster into the sewage system. So that's become part of the legal requirements in the municipal plan. We're going on to our rivers and streams, because that's sort of my main job, is restoring these rivers and streams that were closed up during the last 140, 50 years about. But around 2000, the year 2000, or around 1990, actually, we started. We stopped closing up rivers, and we started reopening them, and began to get policies in place. And we actually have a very strong NGO in Oslo called the Oslo River Forum, who are very active in pressuring politicians and bureaucrats as myself into doing our work in reopening streams. So that's really good. So if you're sort of into reopening streams, get yourself a good NGO to help you, because they can pressurize politicians in a different manner that us bureaucrats cannot do. But that's also, they've pressurized bureaucrats and politicians to the point that is also part of our municipal plan, that there is a legal requirement that developers or whoever's developing a plot that has a closed river should look into if it's possible to reopen the river. And it's actually the reopening of rivers are financed partly by developers and partly by the municipality itself. Some cases are financed completely by developers, but in some cases we also there's such big projects that the municipality goes in and actually finances part of the project in partnership with the developer, or sometimes there are projects where there are no developers, so we develop the project ourselves and get the municipality to finance it. So it's different. And the aims we have for the projects are climate adaptation and increased resilience to flooding, to reduce flood damaging. Recreational values, health are very important, and enhancing the environment and biological diversity in the city. And we see that these projects are really important for people in the city because then they don't have to go out into the forest to experience nature. They get nature in the backyard. So it's really, I think, I actually personally think that's the real most moving thing, and the thing I like most about these projects is that actually bringing nature into people's backyards, so kids don't have to be taken on a trip, because lots of kids don't go on trips. So it's very democratic when kids can experience a river or a stream in their own backyard. So I think that's actually one of the most important aspects of reopening rivers and bringing nature into cities. So how do we meet these aims? Well, it's really, I work in the Water and Wastewater Agency, and we are a sort of driver for these reopening projects, and that's because we are a polluter of rivers. But we, of course, work in very close collaboration with other agencies, and that's completely necessary. We've got the Environmental Agency, who we collaborate very closely with, because of course they know all about fish and so on, and what sort of plants to put in the projects. They're also responsible for paths and benches and lighting and so on, and all the sort of people infrastructure, whilst we're in charge of the technical infrastructure. We also collaborate very closely with the planning and building department, because they of course sometimes have to regulate space for this, and also have to make sure that developers put these in put reopening into regulation plans. We also work with the city agency who owns land and that negotiate settlements with developers. So it's a very close cooperation with many agencies, and it's really necessary that you have a sort of both interagency and interdisciplinary approach to these projects. We've made a management and guidance document on how to reopen rivers. Actually, I'm afraid it's only in Norwegian, but I'll send you the link. I don't think I put the link in my presentation, but it's really practical, and it's really how it's got lots of guidance on how you succeed in executing a project, and it's got all the legal basis for it. It's got all about cooperation between agencies and so on. And you know, one of the main important things is close cooperation on financing. And just so how we meet some of our aims, just some examples, because our aims are, of course, climate adaptation, resilience to flooding, enhancing the environment and biodiversity, improved recreational and health values. So we've set up a whole lot of performance measures. Just let's see if you can find my little arrow. Whoops, sorry. There we go. Performance measures and indicators. So you've got a performance measure, stormwater management. That's what we want. Stormwater management is improved in the area, and reopening reduces the amount of stormwater entering sewage system. Okay, what's the indicator for this? Stormwater flows to the reopened stream instead of the sewage systems, and water for the reopened stream does not enter the sewage system. So that's the sort of important important indicator, and it makes planners who are planning these projects aware of what they've got to do in their projects. How are we going to ensure that stormwater doesn't enters the stream instead of the sewage system? So you've got to look outside your project to ensure that this is a success. Reopening contributes to improved conditions for fish. Okay, we have an increased density of fish. Of course, if you had no stream before there, of course, you're going to get an increased density of fish. We have trout in all of the Oslo rivers, all the bigger Oslo streams, we have trout. But of course, when it's reopened, you get a higher density of fish because you had no fish before there. But then we're looking at a mean weight of fish as well, that will increase in the stream, and that of course we create new habitats. But that also makes planners and who are planning these projects at the practical level, okay, we've got to plan this stream and draw the stream, and so it's good for fish. And the same with better water quality. So we do some monitoring before and after. And also the project contributes to increased recreational values and outdoor life. Okay, the use of the area increases, and users value the stream as a positive element in the area. And today I just saw actually in the newspaper, a famous cook saying that the stream I have a picture of here is the Urdal Hovenbecken stream, which was reopened 2 years ago, and he said he was saying that this is the best area in my vicinity because it looks so nice and it's so green. And so that's sort of okay, we can check that that the users value the stream as a positive element. So that's really nice to read, actually. But it makes planners aware of, you know, what to build for this guidance. We've also looked at how much space does a stream need, because that's often a question, you know, how should I dimension my stream? It has to function at high flows, but it also has to function at low flows, because we are looking at drier, hotter summers in the future. So this stream has to also function at low flows. It should be dimensioned for a 1-year flood. That's a copying of nature. If you go into nature and look at your stream, the wet area is really a 1-year flood. It's from vegetation to vegetation side of the stream is sort of dimensioned for a 1-year flood. And the stream corridor, we say, where you can have benches, you can have lighting, you can have pathway, that there should be no buildings there, and that should be dimensioned for a 10-year flood. And buildings, of course, that are near a stream have to meet the national requirements for flood safety, but that can be done by safeguarding the building itself, but not building a huge stream. So it's really important that the stream, and really the principle is go out and look what you have in nature and copy it. That's really the most basic advice I give to anyone planning a stream, is go out into nature, look at your stream, which has the same size as stream you're planning, and just copy it, dimension wise, geology, whatever. That's really the best advice. So yeah, the principle is to copy nature. The form, morphology, geology, vegetation, fish habitat, copy nature. That's really the best idea when you're planning a stream. No fancy construction ideas, just copying nature. Yeah, and this is also from the newspaper, which says the Hoven stream reopening is the best thing that has happened at Ensjö, which is an area where we have been reopening the Hoven stream, residential area that's completely redeveloped from car city to now living city, and the big project through the area is reopening the stream, and it's really been a huge success for the people that live there. So yeah, this is a picture of the kids that I love watching along streams, and I think that's really the best I can ever achieve, is just watching kids enjoying being in nature just right out of their houses. So thank you very much, and good luck with the seminar.